Hi, everybody. My name is Edward Hill. I'm here at Full Stack Academy giving my tech talk on New York City's Open Data Platform. My background with data, I started off working at a company called Enernoc, where I was working in operations and did a lot of work moving data around, a lot of data management. And a comment that moved around the organization quite oftenly, you almost heard it every day, was you can't manage what you can't measure, or what you don't measure. And I don't know if anyone knew this, but Peter Drucker is who the quote is attributed to. I'd never taken the time to look who had made it up. I actually thought it was one of my managers. But the more I read about it, the more I learned about the power of data and how that can really change your organization and allow people to really take advantage of the data that you're creating around your organization, making sure that it's deployed in the right sort of ways, and also shed light on any efficiencies within your organization. And so throughout my career, data's really been an important aspect of my career, and it's been something that I keep getting drawn back to more and more. And so after coming to Full Stack, that was really one of the things that I wanted to really leverage for my time here. And I've heard a lot about the New York City Open Data Platform since I got here at Full Stack, and I decided to do my tech talk on that. So New York City Open Data Law passed in 2012. And it was signed into effect by Mayor Bloomberg. As you all know, Bloomberg's a guy who really likes data. He's got his Bloomberg terminals, the Bloomberg platform, really takes information and tries to utilize it in really interesting ways. And so I think it's no coincidence that Bloomberg really tried to unlock the potential of New York City's data platform. So what this platform really does is it unlocks a lot of the data that had previously been inaccessible or public, but not really quite fully public to everyone really out there who's got a computer. Previously, it was really challenging to get access to data. You'd have to file Freedom of Information law requests, or have to actually scan through PDFs and manually enter data into a database or whatever sort of platform you were trying to use to investigate that data. But this data now is available on the New York City's Open Data Platform, and there's already been some really amazing things that have been starting to happen with it. You've got a lot of developers who are out there trying to dig into it and look for opportunities to find inefficiencies within the city, find creative things to do with this data. And one of my favorite people that I've kind of come in to an encounter with is Ben Willington, who is probably one of the first developers to really start digging into this data. He's got a great TED Talk that really kind of celebrates some of the first hits on this data set. And one of my favorite ones that he did was on parking tickets. So in 2008, there was a law that went into effect that basically said that parking in front of these crosswalk spots where basically parking in front of I don't know what the term is for the little slants on the road there, but if it's not next to a crosswalk, you cannot actually be fined for parking there. Previously, you could be. And between 2013 and 2016, when the law had been in effect, New York City Police Department had been fining people for this across all of New York. And two spots in particular right here resulted in over $48,000 in illegal parking fines. He found out this data by looking at New York City's open data, looked at the specific places where those parking tickets really seemed to be a little bit anomalous, and just took screenshots with Google Street View and found these locations all over the city. Submitted the information to New York Police Department, and within a few months, the issue was being taken care of by New York City Police Department. They identify that these errors were being made by police officers who hadn't actually gone through a training seminar to be updated on this new law, which was kind of difficult to understand for a lot of them, which is what abstruse means. So just right off the bat, this data hasn't really been out there for very long, but there's already a lot of change that's being made to this city. And I think that previously, this sort of data would have been really challenging to access, and furthermore, the responsiveness of the New York Police Department is kind of amazing that they're taking this citizen input and putting it into effect almost immediately. So I was really interested in learning what else is out there on the platform, and so there's over 1,600 data sets available on New York City's Open Data Platform. Ranging from everything from business, city government, transportation, rat populations, everything's out there, and it's pretty amazing. A lot of it's refreshed fairly regularly, and there's a lot of data that's now available on APIs. The data can be exported in a number of different formats. You can export it directly from the HTML source in like CSV, Excel formatting, all sorts of other things as well. But I was really interested in taking a look at hitting some of the APIs and trying to get some of that data today. So we're going to give a shot at live coding. So let's see if we can get this going. So New York City's Open Data Platform. This is a risk, but I'm going to take it. So here's the New York City Open Data Platform. This is the landing page. If you were to jump into public safety here, we can navigate directly to a data set. So New York Police Department motor vehicle collisions. I'm a cyclist, so I'm always really interested in cycling safety around the city. And hopefully we can actually access this. Well, this was a risk of live coding. So I'm just going to kind of jump right to it. I've got basically the API endpoint for this specific data set. And I've got a query that I've got preset here for Postman. If you guys aren't familiar with Postman, it's a really great resource for basically sending various API requests just directly within a client here. So right now we're pointing at that same data set, the actual collisions and accidents. So if I hit a send request here, I'm going to actually copy this into a new tab really quick just to see if I can do 2 layers of it. So on the first request, we can just send a request, and this should spit back literally all of the collisions throughout New York City. Gives back some really useful data. If you want to start looking deeper into this, you can see the number of people injured, various cross streets, the time at which these accidents took place, the coordinates of it. And for me as a cyclist, I was really interested to see if you could start to query on the number of cyclists that were injured. So I've set a condition here where number of cyclists injured is greater than 0. So if I send that request right now, I can basically find all of the bike accidents that have taken place within New York City and start to think about how could I use this data? How could I map this out in a way that could be useful to the city or to myself or to others? Hopefully, as I get a little bit more used to this data set and better as a developer, one of my plans is for using this data to try to build out an app that identifies specific intersections that are really dangerous for cyclists where you have a higher incidence of crashes, and then take that information and see if I can push that into a Google Maps app where I can help myself avoid potentially dangerous intersections as I ride my bike to work. So a lot of really valuable resources out there in the city and a lot of really interesting things that you can do with that data. And so in conclusion, the data's out there. It's not too hard to get access to. It's just there for you, and you should go get it. And furthermore, full stackers, right now you guys all have special powers. You really are able to go out there, get information that's extremely helpful, and you can represent that information in meaningful ways and do some pretty big and important things with it. So go be superheroes. My name is Edward Hill. Thanks for your time.